When you're relying upon a screen and swiping left and right and swiping left and right and swiping left and right, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, as cool as that is, it gets hectic and it gets boring and it's not different. There's not novelty in that. So dating apps, in theory, are actually the greatest and most reliable way to meet and attract women. Think about it. From literally anywhere on the planet and any time ever, and you can literally choose from a buffet of any type of woman. But here's the question though, does that actually mean that it's the most effective method to meet women and attract women? Unfortunately, that's not always how it is, because picture this for just a second. I want to imagine that you're in a new country on a vacation, and you're in that country at the hotel for whatever reason. The hotel doesn't offer food, whatever, and you're searching food near me. All the types of food that are suggested to you, they all look nice and all, but you haven't tried any of those types of food yet. What that's going to do, it's going to make you feel overstimulated. When you're overstimulated, you don't have a specific choice, or it's hard to make a specific choice because you're not anchored to anything in particular. It's one completely different thing if you know what you want because you've had that before, because that already is an anchor for you. Let's say you've had Thai food before. You've had Thai food before and you look for Thai food near me. You've had it before, so you already know what it tastes like, so that's an anchor that will make you want to stick with the Thai food. And that's completely different from someone who hasn't tried any of the type of food before that's out there. Now that scenario right there is exactly how it is for women on dating apps, especially the attractive ones. No matter how good looking you are, how attractive you are, this and that, sure, you can get more likes, but what will give this woman the desire, that strong desire to go out with you, is what's known as an emotional anchor. You see, man, dating apps for men is completely different for dating apps for women. Women on average get way more attention than men on these dating apps. And that's why you have to learn how to give a woman an emotional anchor to make her want to go out with you to begin with, to get your foot in the door. For us guys, we're simple. As long as the woman's attractive enough and she seems to have a decent enough personality, that's enough for us to kind of want to go out with her again and see what she's all about. But for women, they're just different. So recently, on one of my days off, I had napped in the afternoon and then woke up. And then I literally decided spontaneously that I was going to go and explore Northern Jersey. I heard about Northern Jersey before from several of my friends that it's a very beautiful area. This was like months ago, maybe like 6 months ago. So I told myself I'm going to want to go there sometime in the summer, but I never got around to doing it. So I woke up, I had no plans for the rest of the day. I knew that if I stayed at home, I wasn't going to get anything done. So I told myself, let me go out and explore more of Northern Jersey. And so I remembered that there's this girl who lives in Northern Jersey, coincidentally, that I matched with before on a dating app, and we FaceTimed like once or twice, but nothing seemed to happen. No concrete plans were made between me and her. So anyways, I thought about texting her because I was like, wait, she lives in the same area. And I was like, most likely she's not going to be free because it's super last minute, but you never know until you try. So I went ahead and sent her a text message. I'm like, hey, I'm going to be in Northern Jersey just to explore it. Are you going to be free later? She said, what time? I tell her around 8 o'clock. She goes, I'm going to be free after 7:30 because I finish work at 7:30. So I'm probably going to be free at like 8:30ish. I'm like, that's fine. So I sent her the address of where we're meeting, and then she says, cool, I'll see you then. Surprisingly, she showed up, and we ended up having a great kick-ass date. But before I tell you what happened during the date, let me give you a bit of a backstory. So me and this girl had matched on a dating app around 4 months ago. We texted and we FaceTimed very briefly. I tried making plans with her on 2 different occasions, I think it was 2, but she didn't solidify the plans for whatever reason. I personally think that she was on the fence with another guy, but who knows, that's the past of the past. Anyways, the point being, she wasn't available at the time. Fast forward to now, months later, she's down to go out, and I happen to be going in that direction, in that area, coincidentally, and then she's down to meet. Long story short, the date went really well. We went for hookah, and then I was hungry later, so we went to the diner, and then afterwards, we ended up exploring that part of Northern Jersey. I didn't explore all of it, of course, but a part of it that was actually really beautiful, and she was with me, and then we were exploring it together, listening to nice music, and just vibing everything all out. So it was just nice and stress-free and a cool vibe. I really liked it. Now, what's way more important than what happened over the course of the date is why the date happened to begin with. The answer is very simple. There was an emotional anchor. She was emotionally anchored to see me. In the past, sure, she saw me on the dating app. Sure, she thought I was attractive, probably. Sure, she thought, yeah, maybe this guy looks pretty cool. Sure, she thought maybe he's a bit charming. However, she wasn't emotionally anchored to see me. But when I told her I'm going to be there physically, that spontaneity, something about being spontaneous in that specific situation made her want to go ahead and see me. Now, you see, man, I don't want you thinking that dating apps are horrible and you should just only resort to a spontaneous plan and be fake about it and pretend and like make up a story and be fake about it, like doing what I did but in a fake way. just to get a girl, because actually that's cringe, and she'll be able to pick up on that from just miles away, and she's gonna be disgusted, and she's gonna be like, wow, this guy's just making things up just to see me, and this is so pathetic. However, what I want you to do is, I want you, yes, to use dating apps and to optimize it, and I'll get into that in just a bit. But also, I want you to focus mainly on your emotional anchors. Because sometimes, man, you just have to rely upon the good old-fashioned way of doing things and just keep it spontaneous instead of resorting to dating apps on your screen and just swiping left and right all day. So now you might be asking this question: how do I create an emotional anchor with a woman? Great question. Well, think about this first. What are you doing to make her want or feel like seeing you? You see, man, it's different for every single woman. Sure, the basics are the same, which is you being attractive, you being physically fit, them seeing you as a likable person, etc. But the anchors are different. For me, my anchors are being intellectual, being spontaneous, being into personal development, and of course, on top of that, looks, physique, style, everything. And in addition to that, being a little bit of a goofball, and that's totally fine because that's just me. So for you, what I need you to work on top of course, being attractive, having a good sense of humor, having good conversation skills, having good style, because that is universal. That's something that all women want. I want you to focus on your unique anchors. I want you to display your Instagram and your dating profiles and make them reflect your natural anchors. For me, if you go through my Instagram, you'll see that I'm an intellectual, you'll see that I'm adventurous, you'll see that I'm pretty spontaneous, you'll see that I enjoy deep discussions, you see that I'm a bit of a goofball sometimes, but yet very serious at other times. And I want you to be completely honest with yourself about this, because the more honest you are with yourself, dude, the more you'll be able to catapult your success. For example, am I really portraying the kind of man who's attractive to women, who's desirable by other women? Am I portraying a man who has a decent sense of humor? Am I portraying a man who's fun and adventurous? Am I portraying a man who's an intellectual, who's this, who's that, who's spontaneous, whatever it is? You want those answers to be yes as much as possible, so you can attract naturally prospective people to you who would be interested in you for you based upon your natural anchors. Now, if you're asking me the question, okay, how do I know my natural anchors? This should just come with just some introspection and just some personal development work, bro. Just some deep work on yourself. I know that I'm very into traveling. I know that I'm very into intellectual topics. I'm into sometimes very polarizing topics too, but yet I have a very goofy side on top of that. And that's just me. You, on the other hand, you could be different. Maybe you're extremely funny and you have stand-up comedy. I mean, maybe not necessarily to that extent, but you know what I mean. Maybe you're really into cars. Maybe you're really into books. Maybe you're into this. Just whatever it is, dude, show that off. And like I said, I could help you with your, dating profile, and I could optimize it for you if you want. But whatever it is, man, like I said, on top of course, looks, physique, style, and all these things, because those are paramount. Those are fundamental. Focus on your anchors. Because for this woman, her anchor was, she's a spontaneous woman and I'm a spontaneous man. She likes spontaneity. I figured that out from the situation, and boom, that worked. That was enough of an emotional anchor to get her to want to see me. And also, dude, here's a very important tip for you. I want you to, as much as possible, remove your ego from this situation or from these situations that you will be dealing with. Because here's the thing, man. I know as much as you want to attract these women, some part of you potentially could be really frustrated from the past, could be frustrated because your lack of success, etc., 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 etc. But I want you to recognize that, number one, that's not going to take you anywhere. And number two, for me, for myself, right? Had I got my ego involved in this situation, I would have sabotaged my own success and would have gained nothing out of it. Sure, at the time, 4 months ago, I was a bit pissed because I felt like me and her really clicked, but nothing happened. Yet in this situation, truthfully, completely, like 100% honestly, I was legitimately willing to go to Jersey all by myself and have a kick-ass time by myself to explore northern Jersey, because who knows, maybe I'll live there in the near future, who knows. And yeah, I just told myself there's nothing to lose in this situation, because either A, she's going to be free, which is cool, or B, she's not going to be free, which is just as cool, because either way, in my mind, I'm going to go completely alone and just take myself out, and that's completely fine. I enjoy my alone time sometimes and just taking myself out every now and then. So just keep that in mind, man. An overinflated ego is never going to take you anywhere if you're always, identifying with your ego and putting your ego and getting it involved way too much in these situations. So yeah, man, just as a conclusion, dating apps are not a bad tool that you could use. As a matter of fact, they're very effective and they could be very reliable if you use them the right way. And on top of that, of course, just like I said, you need to be able to attract women in real life too, and use dating apps as supplements, to supplement your dating life and your dating success to attract women, so that you're not just relying upon that. You're able to rely on doing something in person, just like I did, and then taking it from there and seeing what can unfold from there. Because at the end of the day, man, when you're relying upon a screen and swiping left and right and swiping left and right and swiping left and right, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, as cool as that is, it gets hectic and it gets boring and it's not different. There's not novelty in that. What you want to offer these new women, these new potential women that you're talking to and you want to hopefully attract, is novelty. So I promise you, man, just work on yourself, work on your anchors, and try focusing on just being old-fashioned or being able to be old-fashioned and spontaneous. And you never know what'll happen from that, man, but just follow this advice and I promise you, you won't regret it in the end, bro. Peace.